Alright, I wanted to talk about a few dreams I had the other night. So I was just resting. I like to do this thing, I kind of want to term it drifting. And it's when you kind of get into that tired mode and you just kind of rest your eyes and you don't really try to think much, but you let yourself get into that state where you're starting to kind of drift into a sleep mode, but you're not quite asleep. And your brain starts getting just more imaginative, almost like, I like to call them pre-dreams, like the dreams you have as you're falling asleep. You're not quite there yet. So, drifting. I was drifting. And I had a few dreams the other night, a few pre-dreams that that's just totally, they were cool. So I wanted to talk about them. And the first one, I don't know how else to word this, you know how dreams are, they make sense in ways that words just don't have language, and we don't have the language to talk about dreams in the ways that we experience them a lot of the time. So suffice it to say that I, or my essence, broke apart into infinite pieces, and they were all broke apart into infinite pieces, and they all broke apart into infinite pieces, and it just kept going on and on and on, dividing into infinite more pieces and an infinite amount of times. And I had this sense that I was just endless. I know that sounds really cheesy and cliche, but that's what I experienced. I felt endless and infinite, and like I went on forever, and that my life is just so small. Only one path of events in that endlessness. I am anything and everything, and so connected to everything else and everyone else is just this, ultimately the same stuff. If you divided us over and over and over and over again, infinitely, we're all the same thing. So that was drift one. I woke up and I looked around my room and just had this feeling of being, this impermanence on the planet. And I looked around my room and saw the things that I owned and realized, just the sense of none of this is mine. Like, I'm in possession of it, but all of this will still be here if I were to just die, and will be when I just die, if not in the form that they are now, in some other form. None of this is mine. I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be in possession of all of this, which is ultimately, when you divide it all up infinitely, the same stuff that I'm made out of. These things came to me because of the energy path I chose and choose now. Nothing is mine but my soul, my mind, my spirit, my body, my knowledge, right? My knowledge. Some people, they don't think that you really carry on after here, after this life or existence on this planet, whatever any of this is. But I think that I want to believe, and I do believe that we carry our knowledge. Our consciousness is beyond any of the stuff that lasts on this planet. Just as matter exists forever and just changes form, surely consciousness does too, but as it divided up when we die. I want to think that it continues to build. Maybe consciousness itself is built matter. And maybe vice versa, maybe it's inseparable and just two sides of the same coin, they're the same thing. So then I had another dream, another drift. I closed my eyes again and I had this dream that was just like insane. I don't even know how to explain it in English with language. So I had this other drift as I closed my eyes again and let my brain just kind of wander. I was floating in space, and in front of me were galaxies and nebulae and black holes and stars, neutron stars, all the stuff. And they were all frozen still. And I comprehended that space was a substance. I don't really know what other word to use other than comprehended when I say that I comprehended that space was a substance. And it was a substance like water, but different. Instead of a body of hydrogen and oxygen molecules, I was floating in space-time itself. Something much finer than a molecule. Perhaps these were the waters that the gods gathered together when they formed the earth, loving the laws of nature. I moved my right arm, and as I moved it, I comprehended all of eternity. The all-at-onceness of all possibility in time and space had shifted as I was shifting my arm. And once again, I don't know what else to say when I say, like, I comprehended it. I sensed it. It moved with me. I moved my arm again, and all of the universe shifted eternities. All those paths and possibilities, all that space-time in front of me that was frozen still, it all moved. It all changed as I moved my arm, just my arm. I don't know how else to explain it. I comprehended it. It made sense. And I observed and understood it. Like, I understood what was happening. I woke up and I could not comprehend it as I know I did in my dream. And I was trying to dig that comprehension back up because I knew that comprehension was real. But as I tried to recall and piece it back together with my inner dialogue, language, it just slipped away. I remembered the dream, but it wasn't what it was like to comprehend the shifting of eternity. That understanding cannot be had in our language. And I think for that reason, maybe in our waking comprehension, I don't know how that works. It was a language of essence, just knowing that I am coming to understand is far beyond the ability of any earthly language to encompass or convey. Later, I was in a meditative state. I was praying to God. I was begging to know how I can move forward in my life. I've been trying to move forward forever, and I feel like, I don't know, stuck in that substance, that space-time. And I feel like I'm trying to move, but nothing is shifting. I'm not getting anywhere, and maybe I can't even move. And as I asked how out loud, I was redirected in my thoughts to my own words, move forward. And I heard myself asking, how can I move forward? And the words move forward, they just popped out. And I just kept saying them for a minute. Move forward, like something was trying to direct my attention there. Maybe me, my higher self, source, God, I don't know. Move forward. And so I repeated them, thinking and wondering, and then move, and I thought of that dream. Movement requires time and space. And time and space, that substance, is made of movement. Light moving, vibrations. And when you look at it, we all know that. On a quantum, subquantum level, everything is vibration. And it never stops vibrating, it never stops moving, everything is moving. Movement sustains time and space. Time and space sustain movement, and stillness is infinity and zero, alpha and omega, eternity, all at onceness. There is no nothing. But there is no infinity that does not need its limits. It must be limited in order for us to move, in order for time and space to exist, and in order for higher infinities to exist. And that's a thing I like to call set infinity. But I guess we'll get into that later. For now, though, movement, that all at onceness and eternity. If you think about molecules and the fact that they kind of vibrate at higher frequencies and faster and more spread apart, the hotter that they get as temperature rises. And then the opposite, the colder and colder they get and grow closer together. If you had them at, total zero, they wouldn't move, right? And if you had them at max speed, you remember being a kid and saying like, oh, watch how fast I can run. And then a second later you said, did you see that? But you didn't even move, and the whole thing is supposed to be that you ran so fast you couldn't even be seen. Well, infinity and zero. Infinite maximum speed and movement, and then none. And they're equal to each other, in effect. Then it occurred to me that maybe I'm only animated, I only move through space-time and deal with linear time. All these paths and possibilities occurring in an order, because I exist already in eternity. And my every movement affects all of eternity, all those paths and possibilities in front of me constantly. And as I move, as I am animated at all, vibrate subatomically in the ether, I pick my path, and as I exist on and off the everythingness, I pick my path and I exist out of the everythingness, the nothingness. I exist in time. I make larger movements in thought, larger still when I move an arm or hug my mother or make the bed in the morning. I keep choosing out of all of these pre-existing conditions, universes, realities, and dimensions, riding through the waters of time like a surfer rides the waters of an ocean, moving with ebbs and flows, moving somewhere, existing in time. So I went on a walk to move, and more intentionally, willingly after that. And as I go on these walks, I kind of just let myself, my brain drift in a way to the kind of I set the kind of intentions I'd like to surf on, I guess, in that space-time. And I'm choosing my path, I think, constantly as I consciously do this. And I think, yeah, maybe that sounds like a silly thing, but I've enjoyed doing it. It's been something that's enriched my life, actually, and I really do feel better. If it's not actually setting me on an actual path in the way I imagine it, it's definitely helping my path in another way. Good gravy. My foot's so asleep.